The following is a talk given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 7th, 2014 in New Delhi, India. The talk was about pastimes with Srila Prabhupada.
They were black and want to fill in the Prabhupada Leela books.
Today we're back and we will continue the Prabhupada Leela book.
Next Thursday, we'll be in the hospital.
Next Thursday I will be in the hospital
for my weekly checkup. And hopefully we can start again on Friday.
Questions for today. When did Srila Prabhupada explain his desire to have TOVP, such a majestic temple in Sri Mayapur Dham? How did your Divine Grace felt about this majestic temple project in Mayapur?
He was discussing the TOVP.
He was discussing the TOVP.
Even when I was in Montreal. I think that he made the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust. When he was in Canada. And that H.H.Jayapataka Prabhu and Gopal Krishna Das at that time, Swami now, they were the first members of the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust.
Atriya Rishi Prabhu and Gopal Krishna Das were the first trustees of the... Who's Gopal Krishna Goswami now? Who were the first Mayapur Vrindavan Trust members.
So, off and on, Prabhupada would talk about it. And when we got to India, one of his assignments was to find land in Mayapur. And he wrote to Santi Sakha Goswami, then Sedite of the Baldari Advaita Sai Mandir.
And we met Shanti Shaka Gosai, who was the then Sevite of the Prabhatik Advaita Gosai Mandir.
He had letters from Srila Prabhupada. Which he showed me. What Prabhupada said. That in case he couldn't get land in Mayapur. Whether he could get some land in Shantipur. And have his world headquarters. So originally Prabhupada wanted to like just preach in the West,
Originally, Prabhupada wanted to just preach in the West,
and he knew that part of that he'd have to lead them to the top. He knew that part of that
he knew that part of that
was to bring the devotees
was to bring the devotees
to the holy dhams,
to the holy dhams,
and therefore
and therefore
he wanted Mayapur and Vrindavan
he,
temples.
he wanted the Mayapur and Vrindavan temples.
It was later I was told by devotees
It was later I was told by devotees
that when he went to Los Angeles,
that when he went to Los Angeles,
the small Rukmini Dwarkadish,
the small Rukmini Dwarkadish,
Rukmini Dwarkanath,
Rukmini Dwarkanath,
they had told Prabhupada that
they told Prabhupada
that he should also preach in India.
that he should also preach in India.
Otherwise, he was saying like Guru Datta Desh is the West.
Otherwise, he would say that he was saying that my Guru Data Dash is in the West.
That means that his Guru had asked him to preach in the West
That means that his Guru had asked him to preach in the West
and had not told him to preach in India.
and had not told him to preach in India.
So he was explaining to us
So he was explaining to us
different reasons why he had to also preach in India.
different reasons why he had to also preach in India.
He said
He said
that how can we stand by? How can we stand by
how can we stand by
and preach the glories of India
and preach the glories of India
all over the world
all over the world
and let India go to hell?
and let India go to hell?
We have to also do something
We have to also do something
to keep Indian spirituality alive.
to keep Indian spirituality alive.
So like this,
So like this,
Prabhupada gave an outward reason to the devotees.
Prabhupada gave reasons to the devotees.
Once we got land in Mayapur,
Once we got land in Mayapur,
the first thing he did
the first thing he did
was mark out 4 buildings
was mark out 4 buildings
and a temple.
and a temple.
And he said, here will be our temple
And he said, here will be our temple,
and 4 buildings for guest house, ashram, etc.
and 4 buildings for the guest house, ashram, etc.
And then as we gradually got more land,
And as we gradually got more land,
his plans for the temple grew.
his plans for the temple grew.
So as he would travel around, he would see different pieces of architecture,
So as he would travel around, he would see different pieces of architecture,
and he'd, oh, I like something like that.
and he would go, I like something like that.
So apparently while visiting Washington,
Apparently while visiting Washington,
he pointed out
he pointed out
some of the architecture which he liked
some of the architecture which he liked,
and said that that could be in our temple of Vedic planetarium.
and said that that could be in our temple of Vedic planetarium.
So this was a regular topic.
So this was a regular topic.
Throughout all the days I was with Prabhupada,
Throughout all of the days I was with Prabhupada,
hard to think of a day that went by where he didn't touch on the topic.
hard to think of a day that went by when he didn't touch on the topic.
Of course, there might be many days where he was preoccupied
Of course, there might have been many days when he was preoccupied
with other things,
with other things,
but he would regularly talk about the temple of Vedic planetarium.
but he would regularly talk about the temple of Vedic planetarium.
Someone said, call the temple of understanding.
Someone said to call the temple of understanding,
Prabhupada didn't like that.
but Prabhupada didn't like that.
He said that sounds too impersonal,
He said that sounds too impersonal,
and he liked Vedic planetarium,
and he liked Vedic planetarium,
and he gave ideas on the chandelier,
and he gave ideas on the chandelier,
how we should have a planetarium,
how we should have a planetarium,
we should have exhibits,
we should have exhibits,
we should have these deities,
we should have these deities,
Panchatattva in the middle,
Panchatattva in the middle,
Radha Madhava Ashtasakhi in the right,
Radha Madhav Ashtasakhis on the right,
left hand is the Guru Parampara.
left hand is the Guru Parampara.
He said many things,
He said many things,
but of course there was always still a lot of room for other things to be done.
but of course, there was always a lot of room for other things to be done.
So all the devotees
So all the devotees
are very eager
are very eager
that Srila Prabhupada
that Srila Prabhupada
and the previous acharyas
and the previous acharyas
may be pleased by this effort.
may be pleased by this effort.
One day, someone asked Prabhupada
One day, someone asked Prabhupada,
if we had the temple opening with the President of the United States
if we had the temple opening with the President of the United States
and the King of England,
and the King of England,
how would that be?
how would that be?
Prabhupada's eyes widened.
Prabhupada's eyes widened.
He said, if you do that, if you do that, Bhakti will talk over, come down with a spiritual world and take your hand in hand.
Bhakti would come down from the spiritual world and take you back.
And then,
Take your hand and take you back.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
We see in some of Srila Prabhupada's pictures, he had a miniature of TOVP design, 1970s. What was his vision and instructions on TOVP? Put your divine grace, elaborate in detail.
Can you repeat the first part?
We see in some of Srila Prabhupada's pictures, he had a miniature of TOVP design, model. So what was his vision and instruction on TOVP?
His Grace Srila Prabhu,
His Grace Harishauri Prabhu,
Surabhi Prabhu,
Surabhi Prabhu,
and many others
and many others
during Prabhupada's lifetime.
during Prabhupada's lifetime,
They would present to him
they would present to him
their models, their ideas of a Vedic planetarium
their models, their ideas of the Vedic planetarium
temple.
temple.
And Prabhupada would see,
Prabhupada would see,
and then someone else would give their design.
and then someone else would give their design,
And he would see.
and he would see.
So at this time,
And this time,
he was mainly looking at designs.
he was mainly looking at the designs.
He was concerned to get the land
And he was concerned to get the land
to build the temple.
to build the temple.
To build this glorious temple, you need sufficient land.
To build this glorious temple, you need sufficient land.
In 1977,
In 1977,
during the Gaur Purnima festival,
during the Gaur Purnima festival,
when he was already feeling a little sick,
when he was already feeling a little sick,
he said he wanted to establish
He-
the cornerstone
he wanted to establish the cornerstone
and the Ananta Sesha
and the Anantasesha
for the temple of Vedic planetarium.
for the temple of Vedic planetarium.
So on that particular day,
On that particular day,
he was not feeling very good,
he was not feeling very good,
so he touched the cornerstone,
so he touched the cornerstone,
and the main ingredients
and the main ingredients
they gave to a couple of us
they gave to a couple of us,
and said, "You put this down in my name,"
and he said, "You put this down in my name,"
because he wanted that everyone should know
he wanted that everyone should know
it was he who was establishing the foundation stone of the temple.
it was he who was establishing the foundation stone of the temple,
And others are carrying out his instructions.
and that others were carrying out his instructions.
So I think that foundation stone is still with Sadhuj Prabhu.
So I think that the foundation stone is still with Shadbhuj Prabhu.
Next question. We have heard a story about a thief whom Srila Prabhupada pardoned once or twice, and then the third time handed over to police. Do you remember any such thing? Question from Lalitangi Radha Devidasi.
Oh,
Lalitangi Radha Devidasi, USA, right? She's from USA. Coimbatore Mataji. She was, remember, she was in Chile.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Pardon?
I didn't hear the name.
Lalitangi Radha Devidasi.
Yeah, I know her.
She was in Chile.
She's in North Carolina,
Yes, North Carolina.
in Charlotte.
Charlotte.
So, this was the famous Achyutananda number 2.
This was the famous Achyutananda number 2.
There's no Achyutananda 2.
There's no Achyutananda 2.
There's only Achyutananda 1.
There's only Achyutananda 1
At least at that time.
at that time.
But this person,
But this person,
he told people
he told people
that he was Achyutananda,
that he was Achyutananda,
and he has designs
and he has designs
and was preaching in Rajasthan,
and was preaching in Rajasthan,
and he had produced false
and he had produced false
receipts,
receipts,
and he was collecting money for the temple.
and he was collecting money for the temple.
He had gotten a sannyas dress,
He had gotten a sannyas dress,
and like that.
and like that,
So when the members showed up in Bombay
so many members showed up in Bombay
to get their benefits,
to get their member benefits,
to stay in the guest house,
to stay in the guest house,
and they showed their receipt.
and they showed their receipt, Achyutananda,
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
At that time, either Achyutananda had already gone to America or he was in South India.
At that time, Achyutananda had either gone to America or was in South India at that time.
So then people became suspicious.
So then people became suspicious.
Who is this Achyutananda number 2?
Who is this Achyutananda number 2?
And I think Prabhupada talked to the Superintendent Police.
I think Prabhupada talked to the Superintendent Police,
And they said, well, you get him over to us when you get him,
and they said, well, give him over to us when you get him,
and we'll do the needful.
and we'll do the needful.
And so some devotees
And so some devotees
traced out this Achyutananda too,
traced out this Achyutananda too,
and they found in his room the false receipts,
and they found in his room the false receipts
and other proofs that he was doing this collection on behalf of Islam and pocketing the money.
and other proofs that he was doing this collection on behalf of ISKCON and pocketing the money.
So he was taken from Rajasthan
So he was taken from Rajasthan
all the way to Mayapur
all the way to Mayapur
and presented to Prabhupada
and presented to Prabhupada
with the evidence.
with the evidence.
And then Prabhupada called the Superintendent of Police
And then Prabhupada called the Superintendent Police
and told that this person
and told that this person
had been doing this thing.
has been doing this thing.
And so the police were ready to take him over.
And so the police agreed to take him over.
They're ready.
They're ready to take him over.
However, the man said,
However, the man said,
I'm a bad person.
I'm a bad person.
I'm a sinner.
I'm a sinner.
Now I met a real saint.
But now I met a real saint.
So I surrendered to him.
So I surrender to him.
Whatever he does,
Whatever he does,
I'll accept.
I accept.
I'll serve as his menial servant.
I will serve as his menial servant.
I'm very sorry for all the offenses I've done.
I'm very sorry for all the offenses I've done.
I surrender to you.
I surrender to you.
And then Prabhupada, he said,
And Prabhupada, he said,
oh, he has surrendered.
well, he has surrendered.
It's my duty, I have to give him shelter.
It's my duty. I have to give him shelter.
Please, we've seen this time, he'll just try to escape.
Police said that this guy, he will just try to escape. Prabhupada said,
well, he has surrendered.
well, he has surrendered.
I have to accept his surrender in case
I have to accept his surrender in case
he's sincere.
he's sincere.
If he leaves or gets caught leaving,
If he leaves or gets caught leaving,
we'll call you back.
we'll call you back.
For now,
For now,
I'll engage him in service.
I'll engage him in service.
So then Prabhupada
So then Prabhupada,
engaged in some translation work.
he engaged him in some translation work.
I don't know if his translation is good,
I don't know if his translations were good,
or even if Prabhupada intended to use them,
or even if Prabhupada intended to use them,
but he engaged in service.
but he engaged him in service.
And every day he was serving.
And every day he was serving.
So one day,
So one day,
Bhavananda was coming a little late for the Mangalarti.
Bhavananda was coming a little late for Mangalarti.
He was checking on something.
He was
Checking on something.
checking on something.
And then when he walked by the main gate,
And then when he walked by the main gate,
he saw this man approaching with his suitcase.
he saw this man approaching with his suitcase.
And then he grabbed him,
And then he grabbed him,
took him back.
took him back.
So I told that Prabhupada he was trying to leave during Mangalarti.
So he told Prabhupada he was trying to leave during Mangalarti.
Prabhupada told him, I gave you a chance.
Prabhupada told him, I gave you a chance,
You misused it,
you misused it,
so I have to give you to the police.
so I have to give you to the police.
And then they called the superintendent of police again,
And then they called the superintendent of police again
and handed him over to the superintendent of police.
and then handed him over to the superintendent of police.
Prabhupada
Prabhupada ki jai.
was very merciful.
Prabhupada was very merciful.
I was right there, front row,
I was right there, front row,
seeing all the things happen.
seeing all the things happen.
And although nobody believed that this guy was sincere,
And although nobody believed that this guy was sincere,
and whether Prabhupada believed or not was not clear.
and whether Prabhupada believed or not was not clear.
But since he surrendered,
But since he surrendered,
Prabhupada gave him a chance.
Prabhupada gave him a chance.
Like Jagai Madai,
Like Jagai Madhai,
they surrendered to Lord Nityananda
they surrendered to Lord Nityananda
and Lord Chaitanya.
and Lord Chaitanya.
And so Lord Chaitanya said they should bathe in the Ganges,
So Lord Chaitanya said they should bathe in the Ganges,
and I'll initiate them,
and I'll initiate them,
and they have to hear Nidaya Rit. Then they have to follow.
they have to follow.
So they followed.
So they followed.
And but this is Chudana number 2.
But this Achyutananda number 2,
He followed for some days.
he followed for some days.
Even that,
Even then,
how much spiritual credit he got
how much spiritual credit he got
for attending Mangalarti,
for attending Mangalarti,
for chanting Japa,
for chanting Japa,
for translating Bhagavad Gita,
for translating Bhagavad Gita,
and reading Bhagavad Gita.
and reading Bhagavad Gita.
So Prabhupada was
So Prabhupada was
engaging him
engaging him
in Krishna service
in Krishna's service
because he was willing,
because he was willing,
He said he surrendered.
He said he surrenders.
So Prabhupada said give him a chance.
So Prabhupada said, give him a chance.
When he didn't follow,
When he didn't follow,
he was handed over to the police.
he was handed over to the police.
Srila Prabhupada's books were gradually got translated into Bengali. How did your Divine Grace organize those and printed, other than Gita Gan?
So Prabhupada,
So Prabhupada,
apart from engaging
apart from engaging
the educated youth
the educated youth
and devotees who came
and devotees who came
in translation seva,
in translation seva,
I don't think he did much more.
I don't think he did much more.
That was left up to the BBT.
That was left up to the BBT.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Srila Swami,
Subhag Swami,
he was translating,
he was translating,
but he was a bit slow and methodical.
but he was a bit slow and methodical.
Later, Bhakti Maharaj
Later Bhakti Charu Maharaj
came and he translated.
came and he translated.
He was a bit faster.
He was a bit faster.
And most of the books
And most of the books
are translated by him.
are translated by him.
Some by Srila Swami,
Some by Subhag Swami,
and there might have been others. I don't remember.
and there were others I don't remember.
You see, Srila Swami,
You see, Subhag Swami,
his uncle was a famous cricketer in India.
his uncle was a famous cricketer in India.
I don't know much about Indian cricket.
I don't know much about Indian cricket.
Some of the current stars,
Some of the current stars,
but historically, nothing.
but historically nothing.
So we heard this day that Pinaki Rai
So we heard that day that Pinaki Rai
was the uncle of Srila Swami,
was the uncle of Subhag Swami,
and that at that time it was Srila Das.
and at that time he was Subhag Das.
So that Pinaki Rai was a famous cricketer.
So Pinaki Rai was a famous cricketer.
So those who are into cricket may remember that name, I don't know.
So those who were into cricket might remember that name, I don't know.
So his mother came up.
So his mother
Srila
came up.
Swami's mother.
So Subhag Swami's mother came up,
And Bengali mothers are known to be very emotional.
and Bengali mothers are known to be very emotional.
And she said,
And she said,
I want my son back.
I want my son back.
I can't live without my son.
I can't live without my son.
She started rolling on the ground,
She started rolling on the ground,
crying.
crying.
Prabhupada said, I'm not keeping your son.
Prabhupada said, I'm not keeping your son.
You can have him.
You can have him.
Really?
Really?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm not keeping him.
I'm not keeping him.
If he wants, he can go.
If he wants, he can go.
And he asked, do you want to go?
And he asked, do you want to go?
And Subhagdas said, no.
Subhag Das said, no,
I want to stay here.
I want to stay.
So it became a whole new thing for the mother.
So he gave a whole new, it became a whole big new theme for the mother.
She didn't expect it.
She didn't expect it.
The Prabhupada said, I'm not holding him.
Prabhupada said,
I'm not holding him,
I'm not holding him,
and but he's gonna leave.
but he doesn't want to leave.
So the wind was out of her sails for a while.
So the wind was
Out of her sails.
out of her sails.
Now she's very proud of her son,
Now she's very proud of her son.
and it's like that Maya attacks,
You know, it's like that Maya attacks,
and the parents think
and
they're
the parents
losing
think
the child,
they're losing their child.
but it's not like that.
But it's not like that.
The child is still their child,
The child is still their child,
but they want to engage in Krishna service.
but they want to engage in Krishna's service.
Why the parents are so happy if they engage in some multinational company as an accountant.
Why the parents are so happy if they engage in some multinational company as an accountant,
And when they want to do devotional service,
and when they want to do devotional service,
they get all freaked out.
they get all freaked out.
Oh no!
Oh no!
So that's Maya.
So that's Maya.
That serving Krishna
That's something Krishna
will actually deliver the forefathers and the descendants.
will actually deliver the forefathers and the descendants.
And it's not that our brahmacharis
And it's not that for brahmacharis
are forced to be sannyasis or something.
are forced to be sannyasis or something.
They get, if they want, they can get married,
If they want, they can get married,
or they can stay as brahmacharis.
or they can stay as
It's
brahmacharis.
up to them.
It's up to them.
And this way, Maya
So in this way,
attacks
Maya
the parents,
attacks the parents,
and they don't really know what the situation is.
and they don't really know what the situation is.
They think that we are holding their kids,
They think that we are holding their kids,
but it's not like that.
but it's not like that.
So, what time is it?
9:30.
Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Then why? On today's class,
Just on the point you spoke now, it's a little bit a philosophical question. When you say the parent and son becomes brahmachari, so when a parent becomes sick or to near that situation, how should the brahmachari respond to that?
When, say, one person is a brahmachari and his parent comes to a near-death situation, how should the brahmachari react? Or how should he act?
Lord Chaitanya
Lord Chaitanya
was a sannyasi,
was a sannyasi,
but he would periodically visit his mother
but he would periodically visit his mother
and give her instruction.
and give her instruction.
And the sannyasi can see anyone.
And the sannyasi can see anyone,
The ancient sannyas, except the wife.
they can see anyone except the wife.
This was the ancient system.
This was the ancient system.
Brahmachari,
So brahmachari,
if you know your parent is dying,
if you know your parent is dying,
of course you should go there
of course you should go there
and help your parent to get over
and help your parent to get over
the material.
the material world.
But if your parent is sick
But if your parent is sick
and you don't have anyone else to take care of the parent,
and if you don't have any other any other means to take care of the parents,
then there's no other brothers or sisters,
and there's no other brothers or sisters,
no one else to take responsibility.
no one else to take responsibility.
Then you can consult with your guru and do the needful.
Then you can consult with your guru and do the needful.
And my mother
was sick,
and my brother and sister
and my brother and sister
couldn't help her.
couldn't help her.
So we gave her a place in the New Orleans temple,
So we gave her a place in the New Orleans temple,
across the road in a flat.
across the road in a flat.
And for 3 years she stayed there
And for 3 years she stayed there
and ate our Krishna prasada.
and ate our Krishna prasadam.
She chanted 4 rounds a day
She chanted 4 rounds a day
and attended the temple.
and attended the temple.
The only comment she made
The only comment she made
was, why Subhadra Devi
was, why is Subhadra Devi
always looking at her
always looking at her
wherever she goes in the temple?
wherever she goes in the
She
temple?
knows the side from that side.
She moves from this side to that side.
And Subhadra Devi always watching.
Subhadra Devi is always watching.
I couldn't answer that question.
I couldn't answer that question.
Another question. Time to finish. When my mother passed away,
When my mother passed away,
I took the permission of the GDC to do the final rites.
I took the permission of the GBC to do the final rite.
The Chicago temple cooked samosas for all the people who came to her
The Chicago temple cooked samosas for all of the people who came for her
wake, for the funeral ceremony.
or the funeral ceremony.
She had asked that
She had asked that
she be cremated
she be cremated
and a portion of her ashes
and immersion of her and a portion of her ashes
be immersed in the Ganges of Mayapur,
be immersed in the Ganges in Mayapur,
where she said she had a religious experience,
where she said she had a religious experience,
but she would never tell me what it was.
but she would never tell me what it was.
Thank you.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare